Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on what time zone you're in or what time you're watching this video. Today, Ren has gifted us on his birthday. Can you believe him? He's so generous that he gifted us. And today we're going to get a chance to listen to Illest of Our Time, which dropped and is the first song he's released being in Canada, which is my home. So super excited to hear this. I am jazzed because I heard that lyrically this is off the charts. So I did pull up the lyrics on the side here. I'm very excited to see what he does with this. But on top of that, happy birthday, Ren. I hope you had a great one. I hope things are going well. I love your music. I think you're fantastic. And so does everyone, obviously, here watching this reaction, because you are a fantastic individual and I wish you nothing but the best. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Ooh, just before we start, that was almost like, okay, so I'm starting to feel like this is like the demon in his mind. Like we've already talked about this, but it almost like he let us into his head. That's like the vibe I'm getting, where we're allowed to enter now into his mind. And this is interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Ren wearing all white, which is interesting because we also just saw NF wearing all white. So I wonder if this is now Ren's hopeful side. And if it is a hat tip to NF, that's solid, man. I love that. But now we're kind of entering into his own dome, his own place of creation. So this is super cool. But also the production, that sound was so cool. That I love that. It almost reminds me of like drums, but also almost like bullet shots, which honestly, I'm hoping he's firing some shots here of like just lyrical bars, because that's going to be amazing. Really, really cool.
1, 2, 3, spitting bullets on the beat. I'm a sick little puppy who gets lucky when he speaks.
Already bars. 1, 2, 3, spitting bullets on the beat, because he's firing shots. And so I guess that was almost like shots that he was taking out at the gate. But also he's saying he's a sick little puppy. Now that's actually a multiple plays on words here, because one, he's saying he's a sick little puppy. Like, you know, how people are perceiving him to be like this sick little puppy. Oh no. But we know by the title, it's Illest of Our Time. He knows he's more than just a sick little puppy, but he's playing off the idea. That's probably what a lot of people think of him right now, right? But on top of that, it's sick, like sick. And like, that sounds so stupid, but like, it's really cool, right? Because he knows his bars are off the charts. He's sick with it. And then he's also a little puppy in the sense that he's kind of new to the game of music, right? Not necessarily new, but now starting to be picked up. But he's like the youngest of kind of the generation of music that we're seeing now, or least kind of renowned, but he's growing. And that's going to change. He's going to be the big dog real soon. And I love how he's playing up on that. That's wicked.
Blessed with a silver tongue, chest with an iron lung. Extraterrestrial tentacles, aliens. Psychopathic tendencies, a pathologic entity. If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be.
Oh man, where did all of these animals come from? Are they, oh my god. So is it like, it's not just one demon, it's the multiple demons he has in his mind, but it can't just be demons, right? They're bobbing his head with them. Maybe they're like part of his aggression, part of his abilities, right? Just multiple versions. I have no idea. I'm so curious. Like, I would love to hear what Ren thinks of this, or like what his explanation is of this. But now they're kind of bobbing their head with him. Before, we've seen him kind of contrasting against them, right? Where it's almost like they're like not really on his side, but now it's like they're all in sync. And so is it like he's wearing white to symbolize that he's growing and kind of coming out of that darkness? And to now it's because he's kind of figured out a way to wrangle these demons in his mind. That is sick. And this beat is fire. But one of the things that he said was chest with an iron lung. And then iron lung is something that's given to someone who's kind of on who's like on death's bed, who's having trouble breathing, which kind of goes back to the idea that he's sick. But then on top of that, he says it's also because he can rap, right? Like we've seen him sing, we've seen him rap, he can do it all. And some of the things that he's done, like I don't even know how you have the lung capacity for it, but that's because he's got an iron lung. He has all the air capacity in the world and he uses it, right? And I'm sure we're about to see it here. But on top of that, he basically said he's like an extraterrestrial. He's got a silver tongue, which obviously means he's gifted, and he's totally gifted. He is so capable when it comes to just putting together words, but also putting together emotions that we experience. And then he's saying he's an extraterrestrial because he's nothing like anything we've ever seen before. And all of us have mentioned this. He's just a unique talent, something that goes beyond anything we've ever seen. And goddamn, if he's not right about that, he's saying tentacles and all these things, because it's like you're seeing something you've never seen before, something almost scary, but you're still interested, because that's what happens with Ren. He brings this power and this emotion, and you just get immediately hooked. And it's almost like, like when you see a train wreck, you're like, oh God, I can't look away. But it's so, or like a great waterfall, right? Like it's so massive, and in its presence, you feel almost scared or nervous. And that's kind of the same thing that Ren does, is he's got so much presence, so much power, that to us, it's almost like it makes us anxious just to see what he does with it, because he's so awesome. Oh man, what a great start. I'm going to go back a little bit.
He's a pathologic entity.
No, I missed something there.
Terrestrial tentacles, aliens, psychopathic tendencies, a pathologic entity. If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be. Elementary, dear Watson, you might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time.
All right, so that is his mind. Oh, that's sick. I love it. The elevator shaft is his mind, but also think about what that means. It's like elevators go up, right? And that's what he's doing. He's rising. But on top of that, he's talking about ultimately, like, if everything is set in stone, that's how it's meant to be. Because if this is how it was supposed to go for him, well, that's it. This is how it's supposed to go for him. And he's just riding this wave now, right? And I love that, because he understands that maybe the way that things felt before were terrible, and they felt like they were just going against him, but now it's set in stone in a positive way, because we don't usually say that in a positive way, but here he's just going up, and that's wicked. And he says elementary, dear Watson, because ultimately he's saying, sure, he's acting like Sherlock there, right? And he's saying, if you find yourself in the mind of the illest of our time, that's where you are. You figured it out, right? I figured it out, because he's Sherlock. He knows. And Sherlock is a genius, right? In terms of detective work. He's a genius in terms of what he can uncover and the mysteries that he solves. But Ren's a genius of music and creativity. And that's what he's saying to us, that he's Sherlock, but he's above in terms of the music industry. He's the best. Oh, man. He's just off to the most solid start. And I'm so hyped. This music, too, is going hard.
Elementary, dear Watson, you might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time. Get it poppin', hot rockin'. I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I turn it up to 11, the demigorgon of oppin'.
Oh, Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. Also this beat, but Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping, because even in your dreams, you see him. Anyone who's kind of, if you know who Freddy Krueger is, he's basically a horror villain who enters the nightmares of people and kind of slashes them. But this is his message to the music industry, I feel like. And he's telling the music industry that even in your nightmares, even when you're asleep, and you feel like you're safe, I'm still tearing through you. Right? And that's so baller. But also he says that he's the demigorgon of Oppen. I'm guessing he's from Oppen. I don't actually know. But the demigorgon is the villain of Stranger Things, but also the villain in D&D, which is one of the most growing popular things. And I love D&D, which you guys already know. Bards for life. But that's such a great shout out, because he's saying like, I'm the monster, right? I'm the monster that's going to take over this industry. Oh, we are off to a fire start. Oh my God.
Strangest thing, I'm the boss when the danger
lingers. Strangest thing, I'm the boss when he's saying. He's Stranger Things is the show that the Demigorgon is kind of made famous from in terms of D&D. But then he's saying strangest thing, because he's so weird. He's so unnatural in how he's kind of grown in fame, right? The way that he's grown in fame is so strange. He got a deal. It was revoked from him after he had gotten sick, which again goes to the illest of our time. I didn't even think about that, but illest because also the sickness. But now it's a positive spin, right? Because he's literally the illest. He's so sick with it, and that's what he's saying is he's the strangest thing, because it's so strange how he's come up. This is gonna be a long video. I feel.
Illest of our time. Get it poppin', hot rockin'. I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I turn it up to 11, the demigorgon of Oppen. The strangest thing, I'm the boss when the danger lingers, I'm plotting. Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm merry like poppin'.
Oh man, spoonful of sugar makes the, oh man. And so now he's going and saying he's like a spoonful of sugar because he's sweet, right? You want more and more and more. And you'll take it happily because he's like the medicine, right? He's the medicine to the problems that we see in terms of like, you know, social issues and in terms of what we see in like capitalism and marketing and stuff like that. But also because Mary Poppins can fly, and she literally, like, the scene that we see her and she goes up on her umbrella, and that's because he's constantly rising. Guys, he's amazing. He's amazing. But then also he says, I'm Mary like Poppins. But saying that basically like he Mary Poppins, but also he's Mary because he brings joy, right? He makes people feel excited and happy.
Boss, when the danger lingers, I'm plotting. Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm Mary like Poppins. The double barrel is cocking, a shotgun sheltered the noggin. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stop.
Oh my god. Catchy like bronchitis? Catchy bronchitis? What did you say? Let me go back and double check that. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis. So it's because when he everything that he kind of releases to us, it's contagious, right? You just want to listen to more and more, and this goes to everyone. But then he also applies this ultimately to other people in the industry who kind of look down on him, saying, I'm going to basically put you in your coffin because you look down on me. Well, that's it. That's the last thing that you see. But also the double barrel is cocking, a shotgun shelled in a noggin. It's because he said earlier, he shoots bullets, right? But it's bullets of lyricism, and he's shooting those into not only his brain but our brain. And it's actually not a bad thing in this case, but it is for those who look down on him, because to them it's a shot to the head and it's over for them. Also, the fact that he's tied up and kind of still going off. Look, he's changed his attire to be kind of wearing black now, so maybe this is like prior to when he kind of found that synchronicity with those other things in his mind, because his hat is white, and so it's only part of him is kind of feeling this hopefulness. And he's, oh man, and there's a bunch of like, what is it, is this like filing cabinets? This reminds me almost of chalk outlines, the way that started. Ooh, okay, solid start. It was not, it was actually safes. It's safes, like the lockbox of the mind. Okay, this is super cool.
Cocking, a shotgun sheltered the noggin. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stopping, blocking me not when I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing.
Stop. This video can only be so long, Ren. Oh my god. I picked the world up. I'm squatting like someone who goes to the gym, you know, and squats is like when you're lifting the whole world up on your back. That's where you put the weights. You're putting the whole world on your back and you're lifting it up because you're trying to produce change, and Ren's doing it. He's trying to produce change in the world. He's lifting up people's spirits all on his back. And man, but then also he's saying, if I'm basically stealing from the rich, call me Robin. Like Robin Hood, but he's, oh no, it was, I'm in your hood and I'm Robin Hood. But he's also playing on the words Robin, like stealing from the rich, because ultimately he wants to remove that side of society. He doesn't want there to be rich, right? He wants to give to the people who feel like they have less, whether that's financially, whether that's spiritually, whether that's emotionally. He's stealing from those who have the power to, in their position, to be super wealthy in whatever sense of the word we could go, and he's providing it to the others who don't have that opportunity. Oh my god. Okay. Damn, Ren.
Pick the world up, I'm squatting, and when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing. 4, 5, 6, spit a crucifix. 6, 6, 6, flow, crucify a Catholic. Maverick, anti-hero, villain, not protagonist. Words are kind of muffled when you're sucking on my massive.
I like how he also adds in these little ad-libs of going like, It's so cool. I love it. But ultimately here he says 4, 5, 6. He's still firing shots, right? Spit a crucifix. And then ultimate 666 is where he stops, because he's firing the 6 shot over and over again. But also the way that you say it, 666 is the devil's number, right? And then he says, am I the anti-hero or protagonist? Because ultimately you don't know what he really is, right? Because he said Maverick, anti-hero, villain, not protagonist. Man, I'm so glad I had the lyrics for this one, because this is insane. Maverick, like, I'm wondering if he's thinking Top Gun Maverick, the pilot, right? He's the one in charge of where we fly. But anti-hero or villain, not a protagonist, because to the industry, he is the villain, right? He is the one that is going to cause a change in the entirety of the system. And that's what he's hoping to do. And that's why, if to them, from that perspective, he's a villain, not a protagonist. Holy Holy smokes. I'm so hyped. This beat, this music.
Hero, villain, not protagonist. Words are kind of muffled when you're sucking on my massive. Who's the fucking illest? Who's the realest? Who's the baddest kid? Call the police on this beat before I damage it. A kiddie called Screech on the streets. I'm a masochist. So far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist.
The type to kill a pacifist. Oh my god. Pacifists are people who don't like war. But okay, so let's kind of roll it all back. He's basically saying, I'm the best. He's the best, right? And then ultimately he's saying, call the police on this beat because it's gonna get damaged by how hard he's going, how hard he's punching, and to have that kind of emphasized by the fact that we're seeing boxing now, but it's boxing between the other things in his mind. These other kind of like demons in his mind, or just thoughts and possibilities in his mind. And maybe it's this battle that he let ensue, right? Which goes back to not even like a battle, but like actually it is a battle. But this idea of like you have to be able to kind of synchronize with those problems in your mind to ultimately free yourself, which is what it takes to get out of that chair, right? He has to figure out what is happening in this battle, try to come at it from a different perspective and try to understand it rather than battle against it himself. And that's why they're not battling each other. God damn, a kid called Screech. That was also super cool because he's given a hat tip to himself, right? And now he is like Screech. In the sense that like that's what ultimately was part of his come up is the tale of Screech, but also because he's like screeching on the streets, not in a bad way but in a good way, where he's kind of yelling out his soul to the streets. My god, oh my god, Red, relax, you're gonna set my freaking computer on fire, man.
On the streets, I'm a masochist. So far from reach, I'm the type to kill a pacifist. Catalyst for chemical combustion, I'm the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms, and alchemist, evangelist. Spread the words I seek like they're cancerous. Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it.
Catalyst for chemical change, because in your mind, right, he is a catalyst for chemical change. Positive chemical change, whether it's thought processes or whether it's the dopamine hit every time we hear a song like this, and I get reeling every time I hear him go, which is insane. But then also he mentions he's like a metaphor and simile analyst, because that's what he does, right? He takes all these things and dissects them in his mind and then presents it for us to see and enjoy and understand in different walks of life that we may never have even had the opportunity to get a perspective of. Wow. Also, he mentions that he's, doesn't mention that he is, but he says evangelist, spread the words, because he's like an evangelist who's going around spreading the good word, but the good word isn't the word that you would expect. And all of it is ultimately, he says, cancerous, because he's now spreading like his whole image, his whole like ability, his performances, they're all spreading across the world like wildfire, because he's so talented, but also just so real and so good with it. And all of that comes full circle to make him the illest of our time. Oh my god. Okay.
Words I seek like they're cancerous. Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it.
Oh, actually, another layer to that. Spread the words I speak, because one, it's the lyrics, right? It's the music. That's what I talked about a second ago. But beyond that, it's the ideas, right? Like we've talked about them so much. We've started talking about like drug addiction. We've started talking about emotional insecurity, all of those kinds of topics, right? But we're spreading that word. And that word came from his videos. So it's actually us spreading something that he said. And so he's kind of this, like we said earlier, the catalyst for change. Oh, I like how it's him and himself, right? It's opposing mindsets in his own mind, talking smack to themselves. Look at the way that was set up, right? This is one side and this is the other side. And it's ultimately him kind of, it's his own mind having these kinds of discussions and battles and trying to see what comes out on top. But also he's saying that he's firing shots. He's ultimately like trying to create this movement and this powerful change in the world, but he's almost like considered a hooligan as a result, because not everyone wants that, but he doesn't care because he's here to create that change, that power. And that's why you can see him kind of like battling internally of what should I do? But you know what? In the end, we just saw the shot of him in the new attire. So he's gonna spread that word no matter what it takes. Oh,
Guns let loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands. The people wanna play. Hey.
oh, I like how there was also like the multiple voices in the background too, because it's like now it's the garnering of support that he has, right? So many people love him and for very good reason, and so many people support the ideas that he has. We just haven't had kind of like this like person to kind of be the lightning rod that attracts us all in this way before, and now he is that person.
Freedom now has lost all meaning. How can we all be free in a hierarchy breeding ground? The poor get poorer while the rich get rich in style. I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown.
Well, damn, friggin' just guys, I'm so like, and now we can see now it's his kind of interior battle has merged into this one being that I think that we see, and that's why he was standing on top at the pinnacle, because now he's come out on top in his mind. But it's like this fused new version of Ren, which is like all parts of him are mixed, intermingled to understand each other, instead of it being this combustion inside, which is so dope. But he's saying basically like freedom loses its meaning when it's all based off of hierarchy, right? And when you set things at different levels and say these people are better than these people, or this whatever occupation is better than this occupation, whatever it might be, you lose the idea of freedom, because now you're constrained to the ideas of what the world has given you, these societal constraints. And that's what he's saying is, can you even be free if you're kind of locked into this world that's just completely scattered with these societal constraints? Is that freedom? And it's not. And that's what he's trying to say to us, because ultimately the poor get poorer while the rich get richer, and that just creates more problems. And so what he's going to do is he's going to be the heretic. He's going to kill the king. He's going to kill, and the king can be multiple things. It can be the people at the top of these organizations, or it could be the idea, right? The ideas themselves, like the idea of capitalism, the idea of like mental issues should not be talked about, right? Like if you're having any kind of issues internally with your mind, with your emotions, they shouldn't be talked about. That idea needs to die, because that's not how it should be. We should be able to talk about these things, whether or not, you know, like the world thinks that we should or not. It doesn't matter. We should be talking about these things, and that's what he's saying is, I'm going to kill that idea. It's over for that idea. I love Ren. Oh my god.
The rich get rich in style. I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown. Top of the phone, top of the kingdom I own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, but like a cellular phone. I pin. The inner rhyme schemes on this, it's all oh my god, that's so hard to do, to come up with full sentences that have that kind of rhyme scheme and to make it sound this good. But he says top of the throne, top of the kingdom, like he's the one who's at the top, right? He will be the one that gets to the top, because if he kills the king, if he dethrones the king, he will be the one that we see had the right idea, had the right points, and he's going to be the one that rises above everyone else. And then he also says show him bars like a cellular phone, because you get bars on a phone. But also think about what that means. If you have bars on a cellular phone, you can contact people, you can talk to people all around the world, and that's what he's doing. He's speaking volumes to us. God damn, Ren. My own, top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome, spitting for Britain I shown, but like a cellular phone. I pin like Tyson, an icon, go twice in, left, right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready.
Left, right in, like a boxing move, like left, right in, but also like he's left writing, because that's what he does, is he writes this beautiful music that we get to see. And also he says left, right in, like Tyson, right? And Tyson is like the king of boxing. And so that's what he's going to be. He's going to be the one that fights his way to the top. Just like, I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed by this. This is amazing.
An icon, go twice in, left, right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy, so eat my words, fill your belly, like alphabet, spaghetti,
Oh, ready? Was it ready? I'm Freddy? Is that what he said? Oh no, I lost it. Ready? I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy. Heavy like Mercury, because Mercury is actually a heavy metal. And then also, Mercury is almost like, it can affect your brain if you have too much of it, and that's what he's doing. He's affecting our brain. But also like Freddie Mercury, because he's such an icon, and now Ren is going to achieve that level of greatness just like Freddie Mercury. That's what he's saying. Ready? I'm heavy. But also he's a heavyweight like Mike Tyson. There are so many interlinking ideas and interlinking schemes in this song. This is bars. This is dope. This is literally the illest of our time. I understand why you picked this title because it's perfect. Holy smokes. Oh, and then he says, so eat my words, fill your belly, like alphabet spaghetti, because alphabet spaghetti has a bunch of letters in it, right? But he's feeding you words, and that's what words are made of, the alphabet. And we're devouring his spaghetti because he is so good at cooking, and we love it. And we do literally fill our bellies. I can't even once like I after I've heard these songs, I put them on repeat for probably like 5 hours. Like it's unhealthy, but it's so good. Huh. Ah.
I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy. So eat my words, fill your belly like alphabet spaghetti. I am a rap star, don't believe me, the facts are I spit fast like a NASCAR. Don't believe me, then fuck your shit. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. Call a medic for myself. I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stop, then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, ace, one tom bomb like Hardy Brothers.
I need to go back. I honestly got so distracted by the fact that he's kind of falling all over the place, and I wonder if this is like how he felt rising, and then realizing like this is how he's feeling is almost like the illness taking over for a moment. I wonder if that's kind of it, where like now he's starting to not feel so good, and on the rise, it almost feels like the worst moment because like you were so confident, you were so strong, and then now all of a sudden with this illness, you feel a little bit less capable. That's why you're falling all over the place. I have to go back. I'm sorry.
Don't believe me, then fuck your shit. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well.
Listen to the voice in this too. Like it almost reminds me of in Avengers when the snap came and Spider-Man started basically like being like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. It's that kind of like, I don't feel so well. It sounds so like anxious and scared and nervous, and oh man, carrying all that while still giving the performance of falling all over the place.
I don't feel so well. Call a medic for myself. I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stop, then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, ace, one tom bomb like Hardy Brothers. I don't.
Okay, hit by King Kong, and it's ultimately like he's talking about like maybe it is the illness here where you got hit, and maybe it also is the way that the industry dropped him at first, right? Where they're gonna regret that because he's on fire. He's on absolute fire. He is combusting spontaneously. But he felt hit hard, right? Like all the emotions of the experience, all the pain, all of that kind of sunk in and it started to hurt internally. But on top of that, he's telling us like he doesn't feel so well. He's shaking, stopped, and stutter, right? Maybe he's like it's also affecting the way that he can actually perform, the way that he can give us his full delivery of his beats, his music, all of that, right? It's putting a stutter in it because he can't deliver it to us the way that he wants to, because now he has to stop and take breaks and stutter the delivery of them to us. Damn.
I feel so fresh, my bro. Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I want to spread these
I don't feel so fresh, but goddamn, you're coming off real fresh, my dude. But then he also says he's starting to slow. His speaking's starting to slow. He's slurring. Because yeah, this is the experience he started to have where he was feeling like he was on such a rise, and all of a sudden it's like, what's happening? Why do I feel like this? And man, my dude Ren, I hope your recovery is going smoothly. I've been kind of following along through your posts and honestly sending you much love, my brother, because you are a shining light, like I mentioned before, and the world needs more people like you. And so I just hope that from here on up, it's all up.
Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I want to spread these tattered wings, hold them high. Banished from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the sky. Living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise.
Oof, I want to spread these wings, banished from heaven. He's basically saying he's a fallen angel, right? He's saying that he wants to spread his wings so that people can see him, but spread also in the idea of spreading across like the industry, not necessarily the industry, but through our music or through our consumption of the music, but then also spread the kindness, the stuff that you hear from that gets you into heaven, right? The good things. He wants to spread that but he's been banished for whatever reason, and but he still wants to spread that love, the kindness, the greatness. Damn. And then he's living with depression, a blessing in disguise. I've talked about this before, and it's like it was mainly on the NF bars, but like sometimes the mental illness that you can have, it can actually bolster you in the long run because it's something that you have to then deal with, and it can sometimes almost focus you. For myself, when I had diabetes, like when I got diagnosed with diabetes, I was young, and it's genetic, but I was also like not eating so healthy as a kid, and so that really changed the way that I live my life, and now it's actually benefited me. And so this is almost the same thing where it's like depression kind of gives you a new perspective, and maybe it's not the perspective you wanted, but it helps kind of change the way that you think about things and the way that you approach things. It certainly gives you a level of empathy towards anyone else experiencing that issue, right? And it helps you kind of understand where they're coming from. And then this is what partly has allowed him to kind of engage a lot of his core viewers, right? Is talking about these things, exposing these things, making it okay and comfortable to talk about, because it is okay and comfortable to talk about. If you're feeling like if you're having any kind of mental illness, having any kind of emotional break, any kind of issue in general, it should be okay for you to talk about, for you to share your feelings and think about them. And that's what he's saying here, is that like, even though it was kind of, it doesn't feel very good in the moment, it's helped kind of provide this new sense of life and sense of understanding. Man.
Passion is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. One to sink into the pupil of my eye. Travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Look for all the answers that I never seem to find. Till then, I guess I'm still the illest of our time.
Oh, and he closes his eyes. He's essentially saying you want to go into his mind. You want to travel through. He says going into the pupil and the cornea, which is the very center where there's the little hole where all the light enters. And behind that is your mind. Not only that, but you have to mentally, you physically get light into your eyes and then process it. And then that gets sent to your brain. So what he's saying is really, he himself, and honestly us as well, want to go and see what's going on in his mind. Right, and see what is actually happening there, because it's so beautiful, right? It's so vast, but also from the other perspective where there are things going on that he wants to get a grip of and get to understand and get a better idea of how to feel better, or how to change the way that he's feeling. And all of that is just to a metaphor for understanding each other, for understanding himself, which is bomb. That is such a great way to say that. And then he says, till I figure it out, I guess I'm just the illest of our time. I'm still the illest of our time. Because he is the illest of our time. And then he closes his eyes, because he said it's essentially him saying, I can't do that right now, but even when I can, or until I can, I'm still the illest of our time. God damn, Ren, this was so fire. I cannot even explain. I'm gonna listen to it again after this video is over. But wow, actually, maybe, you know what? We're going to listen to it now. Again, we're going to go from the beginning. And if you don't want to stay for that, this is be like an actual reaction. Because I think a couple people have mentioned that I don't always get to experience the full music or performance when I only listen to it in parts like this and dissect as we go along. And I feel like this one needs a full listen. So let's do it. Oof. Oh. It's sirens. I didn't even realize that.
1, 2, 3, spitting bullets on the beat. I'm a sick little puppy who gets lucky when he speaks. Blessed with a silver tongue, chest with an iron lung. Extraterrestrial tentacles, aliens. Psychopathic tendencies, a pathologic entity. If everything is set in stone, then this is how it's meant to be.
I love the bass coming in there too.
You might find yourself inside the mind of the illest of our time. Get it popping, hot rocking. I'm Freddy Krueger, I'm chopping. I turn it up to 11.
Oh, all these interior rhymes.
I'm the boss when the danger lingers, I'm plotting. Sweet like a spoonful of sugar, because I'm merry like popping. A double barrel is cocking, a shotgun sheltered the noggin. I'm coughing, catchy bronchitis, you're in your funeral coffin. No stopping, blocking me not when I pick the world up, I'm squatting. And when I take from the rich, I'm in your hood and I'm robbing. 4, 5, 6, spit a crucifix. 6, 6, 6, flow, crucify a Catholic. Maverick, anti-hero villain, not protagonist. Words are kind of muffled when you're sucking on my massive. Who's the fucking illest? Who's the realest? Who's the baddest kid? Call the police on this beat before I damage it. A kiddie called Screech on the street. I'm a masochist, so far from reach. I'm the type to kill a pacifist. Catalyst for chemical combustion. I'm the analyst of metaphors and similes and synonyms and alchemist. Evangelist, spread the words I seek like they're cancerous. Pragmatist, think before I speak, then I answer it. Pull up, pull up, pull up to the place. When I pull it, bang, I pull it, sang it, shot right into space. Music for the hooligans, let loose on the estate. Call the police and the riot bands, the people wanna play. Hey, freedom now has lost all meaning. How can we all be free in a hierarchic breeding ground? The poor get poorer while the rich get rich in style. I'll be a heretic, killer king, take his crown. Top of the throne, top of the kingdom my own. Top of the streets that I roam, top of the dome. Spitting for Britain I shown, but like a cellular phone. Hyping like Tyson, an icon, go twice in. Left, right in, I'm striking, like I'm biting, like a python. Ready, I'm heavy, I'm Mercury, I am Freddy. So eat my words, fill your belly like alphabet, spaghetti. I am a rap star, don't believe me, the facts are I spit fast like a NASCAR. Don't believe me, then fuck your ass, shit. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. I don't feel so well. Call a medic for myself. I don't feel so hot, my brother. Aching, shaking, stop then stutter. Things gone wrong, hit by King Kong, ace, one ton bomb like Hardy Brothers. I don't feel so fresh, my bro. Things look blurry, speaking slow. Head in Hong Kong, wonton soup is what I have for brains. I know that I want to spread these tattered wings, hold them high. Vanish from the heavens, but I'm knocking on the sky. Living with depression is a blessing in disguise. Never second guessing, intuition getting wise. Want to sink into the pupil of my eye. Travel to the corner of my cornea and mind. Look for all the answers that I never seem to find. Till then, I guess I'm still the illest of our time.
Jesus. Oh, that is definitely a song that's going to be on repeat. Holy smokes. And I noticed a couple things. I missed the knocking on the sky because he's back. He's flown back up to the top, and he's ultimately like he's the king. He's in the clouds because he's in the sky. He's above every other artist that kind of exists. But also now it's actually more clear to me that I think this is kind of the journey that he went on. Right? He was growing, and then all of a sudden there was this trouble with the Lyme disease and with mental illness and all these struggles that seemed to kind of proliferate right to the top, and all of a sudden it felt like he was starting to experience this descent, but he wasn't. Right now that he's starting to kind of dive back into his mind and understand it better. He's also understanding the world better, and that's changing how he's feeling. And so, like a fallen angel, right, who was rising, had his wings, felt like he was at the top of the world, and then was banished because he was left out from the music industry. They kind of pulled the rug from under his feet and dropped him, and he felt like he had fallen. But now he's back knocking at the sky because he truly is a gifted artist, a gifted individual, and just a truly amazing human being. And as such, he's seeing this rise again, right? And now he's taking time to understand himself. But even if he's not fully able to understand himself yet, he's still the illest of our time. He's still amazing. And then illest of our time because of sickness. Damn, Ren, this was so fire. I am so impressed, and dude, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're having an amazing birthday. I hope that I just hope that this is an amazing gift, not only to us, so thank you for that, because this truly was a fantastic gift to us, but also I hope this is a gift to yourself, because man, you have garnered so much support and people love you so much, and we're all sending you our positive vibes, and I hope you feel that. And to everyone out there, thank you for supporting Ren. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting Ren too, though. And let's all keep spreading that love, because that's all we need to do. That's how we make the world a better place, slowly but surely. Well, if you stayed till now, I'm going to go back and listen to this song in a minute, but you've already seen me listen to it twice. So I hope your week is better than your day, your month is better than your week, and your year is better than your month. And until next time, see you on the next one. Love you.